What's up, guys? This is Higgins with Legal Automations. I'm on a quest to try out every filament in every color. On today's episode, we're taking a deep dive into eSun's basic PLA in beige. So do like eSun. Not a huge fan of their boxes, though. I think that they would just also save some money by basically just utilizing regular cardboard and just printing on that. Much in the same way they do with their spools here, without really any frills or anything like that. Just personal preference, that's just me. Anyway, they do have these nice easy to open tabs, which are always good to see. And we'll get that out, and here is the beige filament. So as you know here at Legal Automations, we always dry our filament for at least 6 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the filament dryer, and I'll see you back here shortly for the benchy. Alright, and here it is. So if you're new here, we always start out by printing a benchy in the generic filament settings in Bamboo Studio, in this case generic PLA. So we're going to go ahead and get that sliced up, and should take a little over an hour there. Yep. So we're going to get that sent over to the printer, as well as all the other test prints, and I will see you back here for the full testing there. Alright, so here are all of our test prints. So as you know, we start out, like I said, by printing a generic benchy, and here it is. Overall, I'd say pretty good, maybe a touch of issues with some of the overhangs, but again, it's so minor that I couldn't tell too much about it. But next up, we had the dimensional cube test. This one's printed 40 by 40 by 40 millimeters cubed in spiral Voss mode. There was an issue on that corner there on that side where those two pieces meet. Basically, it was a little bit wider than it should have. It should have been a complete 90-degree thing, but we're going to see about rectifying that in the as we get the settings dialed in. Next up, we had the temperature tower. So for this one, the best temperature, I believe, was probably right at, let's see, 200 there, or 205. 205, realistically, they're kind of interchangeable, but I'm going to probably recommend 205, just because that one had a little bit less stringing and globbing on the spike there. Next up, we had the retraction test. Retraction test performed relatively well. A little bit of stringing there at the bottom, but nothing super major that's breaking. Next up, we had the max volumetric speed test. So this one performed very well at 20 millimeters per second cubed. No real issues at all with that. Next up, we had the overhang test. So the overhang test obviously failed. Overall, I'd say it went, not great, basically over 30 degrees, and it started to fail. So just be on the lookout for that if you're looking to work with this filament. Overall, though, we were able to get those things dialed in and reprinted that benchy. Everything looked fine there. So at time of filming over at Amazon, you can pick this up for less than $14, which is an amazing price. Again, this is a beige, pretty basic PLA. Not really used for fundamentally like engineering grade parts, but if you're looking for something like for small toys or anything like that, that's something worthwhile. My overall thoughts are, look, this is a relatively good price if you're just into the hobby and you don't want to spend a lot of money on a bunch of expensive filament. This is worth checking out. Anyway, that's been eSun's basic PLA in beige. If you like this type of content, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'm a relatively new channel, and it does really help us. But yeah, that's been my thoughts on this filament. I've been Higgins with Legal Automations. Be kind to each other, print all the stuff, and I hope to see you back here for the next full review. Thanks.